Welcome, everyone. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. It's morning here, and welcome to day 54 of the tip of the day. Today, I wanted to talk about again back to Danielle's question on after watching the video on YouTube for tip number 51. Where I talked about Byron Katie's lesson, right, on loving what is, where a woman was, I think, sexually abused by her father. There were like quite a few stories and my violations. So she had asked if I felt that my parents did not protect me. Right, that was the question. So I talked about my mother yesterday in tip number 53. This is tip number 54. I'll move to my father. So my father and mother separated in when I was 8 years old, in third or fourth grade. So just know that that is the reality out of the infinite potentials, and that's why Eckhart says it, Dr. Joe says it, that we are multidimensional beings, that in this dimension, yes, my mother and father is separated. In another dimension, they may not have separated. So just realize, if in this dimension you are poor, there is a dimension where you are rich, like filthy rich, like Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk. Right? So it's all about vibrational frequencies. So, and if you don't have health, there's a potential where you are completely healthy, you're living a happy life. And that's the whole premise of what Dr. Joe's teachings are, is that you're an old self, just move to the new self that is healthier, right? So going back to my father, yes, at 8 years of age, 8, 9, 10, 11, when things happen, like interacting with the world and people, the violations occurring, I did feel, why is it that my dad is not around, right? Especially if you realize, leave alone the world, the violations happening, the life at home was not, you would think that it is not happy, right? Because my mom was violent, she had a violent temper, a heavy pain body, so you never knew, just like Eckhart's father, you never knew when she would go off. It was like a gunpowder waiting to go off, right? So that's how my mother was. So you were walking on eggshells all the time. So the other thing I remember when I was a teenager, like, okay, 8, 9, 10, you don't know anything, right? But then when you become 12, 13, 14, you're all the more saying, okay, there's an avenue. Why does my father not come get me, right? Why does my father not want to come get me and release me from this pain and suffering and the poverty as well? And then it so happened that at 17, leave alone my father, and this is when my father was actually thinking of coming back, like reconciling, right? Coming back to the city where we lived. And right then he met with a fatal accident and passed away when I was 17. So leave alone the abandonment at 8, then there's another abandonment at 17 that the life force itself left him, right? His life force left. And so that was another heavy shock. Shock in the sense, not so much as a shock, it was more like, all the more now I am, like, you as a child, you don't see avenue. What is the freedom? Where is the freedom? Like, your soul is looking for that freedom, right, from this situation where you're poor, you're being tasked with all these, you have to work so hard to exist, and leave alone that, then you're working, you're probably like there's a mental illness here, right? Like pain bodies and illness. There's a illness here. You're living with a person that's chronically ill with their pain body. So, and I know quite a few people have alcoholic mothers, fathers that may be alcoholic. They may have grown up in families that are alcoholic, same kind of situation. So again, I'd go back to what I said in 53. If he would have come back, or if we would have reconciled as a family, then I would never know how to forgive abandonment. So, excuse me. So the soul contract, and I'm listening to Carolyn May's the audiobook Sacred Contracts. So we would have made a soul contract, according to what I understand. I'm paraphrasing here. In the first session, she says we would have made a contract with all these people that we want to learn this lesson, right? And in the non-physical, it's like, just realize that in the non-physical, we are unconditional love, with who we were and who our mother, father. So that's another limiting belief that we grow up with, right? Because of our whatever this experience was, the life situations that we went through, right? The challenges we went through. Our limiting belief is, oh, my mother didn't love me, or my father, he abandoned me when I was 8. That's another limiting belief, that he never loved me, and then he actually passed away. So he didn't love me. There's nobody in this world that loves me is the limiting belief, right? But in the non-physical, this is what she says in Sacred Contracts, and this is what I realized. Everybody is in this almost in this what I would field of cosmic love, right? Whoever is coming in as a part of your soul contract to teach you a lesson is also filled with the same cosmic love. And out of that love, they are like, when you get your assignment, like when you say, I want to sign up for this abandonment, I want to sign up for this lesson of forgiveness, right? That person is, I mean, I'm saying person, but that soul or that entity is saying, okay, I will be your teacher in this, to offer you abandonment. I will be your father who comes in and takes birth at so-and-so age. And then you will be born as my child, and I will offer you that lesson of abandonment. So this is not understood at the level of ego. You will not understand this at the human level. You have to realize, and this is what Carolyn Mays in that book constantly says, let me take you up the upper floors. Let me take you to back to the non-physical, right? We have to know of ourselves as non-physical entities. And in the non-physical, and we've talked about this a lot during Facebook Live Q&A, that when our soul leaves our body, when the spirit is exiting our body, there's a final life review that is done, and there are guides that help us. There are angelic guides that help us say, okay, are you going to take this lesson? Are you going to take this lesson of forgiveness? Are you going to take this lesson of abandonment, right? So I have that understanding and compassion, back to the empathy and compassion, that my father should have offered me that lesson. And the same thing with, he should have offered me, he should not have been there to protect me, because if he would have protected me, where is the lesson of forgiveness, right? I would have missed the lesson of forgiveness. Back to in Sacred Contract, and I got reminded of this story of Gautama Buddha, Siddhartha. I think his name was Siddhartha. He was a prince, and his parents tried to. Now, just imagine if your life was like Siddhartha, right? Like the prince Gautama Buddha, where he was put in a cocoon. They tried so much, his father tried so much not to show him death, not to show him aging, not to show him poverty. But then suddenly he was like, the polarity exists. The Earth is this Milky Way galaxy. Our galaxy is of polarity. So we do need this, the negative with the positive. So just realize, I'm wishing that all of you come to this inner knowing, and it's not so much as a mental, oh, I forgive my father. It is an inner knowing that things should have happened exactly that they did. And yes, as a 8-year-old or a 17-year-old, I may have felt that my father should have been there for me. But now when I look back on it, I know that the lesson that was offered to me was of abandonment, and that I've come through that lesson, right? So forgiven him, forgiven whatever happened to me. I know that it needed to happen exactly the way it happened, because I needed to learn, like, all this led to the spiritual practice that made me learn that what is this sense of lack and incompleteness that we have, right? When the spirit descends into the physical form, into the body, it has forgotten its original nature of this unconditional love, that it is infinite love. I needed to know that lesson, that it's not outside, it's not from my father or it's not from my mother that I'm going to learn this lesson. It is within me. The divinity is within me. This connection to source is within me. And once you know that, and this is why I say, take up a presence practice. I have I think it's called intensifying presence. I have a lot of tips there on how you can intensify presence. There are a lot of teachers and part of the group that actually offer classes, coursework, consultation. You can do one-on-one consultation with them. Like April is a psychic, so you can do a psychic reading with April. Lakshmi does a different kind of healing. Vidya from our group has received a lot of healing from Lakshmi initially when what I would say, she was on Mattress Island, right? So there are a lot of avenues to actually heal, and that is the offer, and that's the portion that I want you to take away from today's video. Is healing is the most important. And to me, it's not even now, it's not even about healing. It's more about how can I, okay, I'm at this, Carol Mace has floors. She says, okay, their floors, there's first floor, second floor, third floor, fourth floor, then there's the penthouse. So I'm like trying to move up the floors and get that penthouse view, right, of what this cosmos is. So I may be at the 11th floor or the 12th floor, but I keep going, how can I get to the 13th floor? How can I get to the 14th floor? How can I get to the 15th floor, right? And I feel even Dr. Joe says the same thing. He is all constantly looking at the next mystical experience. You can always have a more intense experience than what you had yesterday or the day before or the day before, just inner experience. And that's what is so exciting. That's what fills you with euphoric joy, right? What is my next more intensified transcendent experience that I can have, the more mystical experience that I can have. And all it requires is between your ears, your brain creating, your neocortex creating that experience for you. So that's my promise, that if y'all keep evolving on this path, that you will have mystical experience, leave alone mystical experience. It will bring synchronicities, and that will bring abundance as well. So I would that's my wish, that it's peace and abundance for all. That's why I created the group as well. So thank you so much for listening. Have a fantastic day. Today is Wednesday, so we will meet during Facebook Live. We'll delve into this question a little bit more during the Facebook Live, because I want to hear what the panel members say about it too. I know what I would say about it, but I wanted to maybe we'll delve a little bit more during the Facebook Live. So many blessings, much love, take care, thank you. Eternally grateful for all the support.